Coming up on the Paper Talk today, the training footage is out and we're all getting carried away. Well, I'm getting carried away thinking that we're going to win the lot because we've seen Ruben Amorim at Carrington working with the players. We've also been to look and seen, well, we've not been to look, we've also been able to see who he's playing in what position as well. So let's get into it. Jay here, Stretford, Paddock. This is the Paper Talk. As you can see, I'm outside Old Trafford and it is absolutely sunshiny. Get your barbecues out. It is lovely summer weather. Obviously, it's not. Make sure you've got your parkers on. Loads of stories to get through, but before we crack on, make sure you are hitting like, share and subscribe. Let's get to 800,000 subscribers on this channel. Come on, people. We're nearly there. Let's do it. Right. A lot of the stories this morning focusing on the footage from that first training session with Ruben Amorim. So I'm going to be getting into that. I'm also going to be talking about a couple of transfer stories too. Before I get to the training footage though, transfer stories. We've got one, I think, in Gimme Sport, which I'm going to absolutely dismiss straight away. That United have made a £84 million bid for Ademola Lookman from Atalanta. No, we haven't. And I don't think that's true. He's had a good start this season. I think it's 6 goals and 4 assists. Obviously got a hat-trick in the, was it the Europa League final, I want to say, against Bayer Leverkusen. We're not going to pay £84 million for him. We certainly haven't bid it for him already. So let's just dismiss that one and move on. Other transfer stories. I saw it in Stretty News where it was saying that we've sent scouts to look, or a scout to look at Victor Gyökeres, or been watching Victor Gyökeres for his country. The Swedish international played, I think, was it against Slovakia, I want to say. My memory's not too clever. I might have got that one wrong, forgive me. And scored. He's been linked with Manchester United because of, obviously, the Ruben Amorim connection. We'll wait and see what happens on that front. Are we going to bid for him? Is he going to be a target for us? Are we going to try and bring him in? He obviously did very well for the Sporting manager at Sporting. Looks like he would fit in here at Old Trafford. There's question marks about our goal scoring. I've been one of those people questioning our goal scoring because it hasn't been good enough. Could Gyökeres be the answer? We'll have to wait and see on that front. Another transfer story as well is this one about Anthony. Anthony apparently could be surplus to requirements. There's talk that, I think this is in the Mirror, that Manchester United will be looking to offload him, and that I think we are looking at Giovanni Quenda from Sporting to come in instead. Lots of ifs and buts and maybes, lots of speculation. It seems like an obvious story to go, well, Anthony's not going to be wanted anymore because he hasn't had the best time at Manchester United, but under a new manager, you never know. He has been featuring in the training. Obviously, he's been featuring in the training. He's not been not training. But in this system that we see Amorim likes to play, the 3-4-2-1 system, Anthony featured in that. And we're going to get into that now. We saw the footage, or I'm sure you've seen the footage, of Amorim taking a training session. Very hands-on, very involved with the players. So I'm chatting to Kobbie Mainoo, one or two others. It's difficult, I'll be honest with you. It's very difficult not to get excited. I know it's only training ground footage, and I watched about 30 seconds of it, and already I'm, planning a parade and getting the bunting out for 21 is coming. And I know that's giddy, and, we're all getting a little bit overexcited. Well, certainly I am, but can't help it. He has got that charisma. He does look great on a training ground. It's kind of meaningless, but allow me to get carried away. In terms of the formation that we saw in training, a lot of people watched the training ground footage, and they worked out who was playing in what position. And it looked like he did set the players up in a 3-4-2-1 formation, which is obviously what he's famous for. Some call it 3-4-3, 3-4-2-1, however you want to term it. Now, in terms of who was playing where, I think we had a system where the back three was on the left. I think you had Luke Shaw. In the middle, you had Johnny Evans. On the right, you had Lenny Yoro. Now, at left wing back, you had Tyrell Malacia. Then your two central midfielders, I think, were Kobbie Mainoo and Casemiro. Your right wing back was Anthony. Now, he does like, when he has played this system in the past, to have one wing back who is the opposite foot of the side he plays, if that makes sense. I think Quenda is left-footed but plays on the right, and I think that's what we saw from Anthony in that training session as well. Then your two 10s were Amad Diallo and Mason Mount, and up front as your striker was Marcus Rashford. Now, there's a lot of players like Manuel Ugarte, for example, who are missing because of international duty, who are not able to take part in the training session. So we'll wait and see what the team is going to be for Ipswich. I doubt very much the team that I've just mentioned will be the team that starts against Ipswich, but you can see how he's already implementing that formation, implementing that style in his training session. So it'll be interesting to see who out of those players I've mentioned keeps their place in the game on Sunday. Simon Stone tweeted earlier, and obviously I've mentioned him, so you'll probably worked it out, that the likes of Luke Shaw, Lenny Yoro and Kobbie Mainoo were obviously involved in training, back from injury. A massive boost to the manager to have those players back. Lenny Yoro didn't even kick a ball in a competitive game under Eric Ten Hag. Obviously, Kobbie Mainoo, you know my thoughts on Kobbie Mainoo, and if you don't, I'll tell them I think he's absolutely mint, and I love him. And Luke Shaw, lots of injury issues, but when he plays, he's usually very good. So it's a big boost to the manager to have these players back. Hopefully we can see him implementing his style, implementing his formation, early doors. I said this the other day, I'd like to see him sort of just go with what he knows best and what he wants to do straight away, rather than, oh, should we do it gradually? No. Get these players learning your style, learning your formation, and get them going straight away. Now, he did mention in his interview the other day that he did for the club that it's not just about whether it's 4-3-3 or 3-4-3. It's about the character, it's about the players themselves, it's about their application and all that sort of stuff. But we know this is a formation he is tried and trusted. Trusted? No, that's not a word. Trusted. He had a lot of success with it at Sporting, not least when he beat Manchester City 4-1 recently, let's not forget. So we could see it here at Old Trafford, or even before that, we could see it at Portman Road this Sunday. Also, in that training session, we saw Goodwill Kakonki, the 16-year-old left-footed centre-half, taking part as well. Now, we've spoken about this on the channel many times, and I think it was alluded to and mentioned by, not more than alluded to, mentioned by Ruben Amorim in that interview he gave with Manchester United late last week, that, you know, the academy players, the youth players, they are players that can feature, that he can look towards as well. Because, listen, we know that Manchester United have a long history with our academy players, and it's part of our DNA. We've mentioned this many times on the channel. When you talk about what makes Manchester United, a big part of that is our academy, whether it's the Busby Babes, the Class of 92, Marcus Rashford, Scott McTominay more recently, Alejandro Garnacho, Kobbie Mainoo, whoever. We've always had young players in our academy. We've always had academy graduates in our first team. I think that's a record dating back to the 1930s, and we've had huge amounts of success with our academy as well. What other team can you think of that's had, 5 or 6 academy players and gone on to win the treble in that side? So it is something that is a part of our history. But more recently, or more importantly now, it is something that the manager can tap into. We've had Finn at the Academy Scoop on the channel quite a lot recently, and he's been talking about some of these players, about the likes of Harry Amas, perhaps, even Chido Obi Martin, who's only just come in, and who's only 16, but has been banging in the goals. Maybe Kakonki could be another one that the manager can look towards. Okay, maybe they don't start every game or whatever, and you look at Kakonki, 16-year-old defender, is he going to use him? Probably not. But there are players there that are not that far away from the first team and could be used as part of the squad. They could be used as a rotation. They could be an option for him. You look at someone like Harry Amas, for example, I keep mentioning, at the left-back position, or left wing-back as it were. That's a player that would suit that role. Now, he's only 17, he's only a youngster, might not be ready just yet, but at some point during the season, you might see him get some minutes. It wouldn't be beyond the realms of possibility. We've seen the bench under Ruud van Nistelrooy, of course, when you saw the likes of Jace Fitzgerald, for example, on the bench as well. Ethan Wheatley's still someone who's not that far from the first team. So there are options there for the manager, and when you see players like Kakonki in training, him utilising them, him getting them involved, it is pleasing to see, and I think we could end up seeing some of the academy graduates feature this season, especially as well because we, from what we gather, haven't got a lot of money to spend in January. So if we have got injuries, or if he does want to try something different, or if he does need to lean on certain players, then he's probably going to have to tap into the academy rather than tap into the transfer market. Get involved in the chat in the comments. Let us know who you think from the academy, from the under-18s, under-19s, or the under-21s even, who you think could be knocking on the door of the first team very soon, because we have got a good pool of talent there. We were talking about it on the Paddock podcast yesterday. Isn't so much the 20-year-olds, it's more the sort of 16, 17-year-olds that people are looking at and going, the likes of Obi Martin, the likes of Harry Amas. These are players that could be potentially very, very useful for Ruben Amorim, in some cases sooner rather than later. So let me know what you think about that, because we all love young academy players coming through. We just don't want to rush them, do we? But sometimes you get someone like a Kobbie Mainoo who's just ready. Loads of videos, previews, all that stuff coming up on the channel this week. Make sure, if you're not doing, you are hitting like, share and subscribe. We've got a special new video coming out later today with a guest. It's going to be a regular feature on the channel, so make sure you're subscribing so you don't miss out on all that. I've been Jay Motti, outside a pretty cold Old Trafford, especially for my bald head. Thanks for watching.